I can do it.
Okay, please.
Or Acre,
I'm here.
Sherry Acre,
Present.
Dan Darren. Absent. John Edwards. Absent. Tom Healy.
Present.
Cynthia Isherwood.
She's present. She's muted, but she's present.
Mike Janik. Hopefully
Mr.
be
Bill.
popping on.
You can have a,
Judy Jones.
Not present.
Dave Perry.
He's trying to get on. I'm sending the link to the budget committee again.
Joe Souza.
I'm present.
And myself, Joe Schramm, present.
Cindy, can you hear us? You're muted.
you don't have a quorum unless Cindy says yes.
We'll get her to say yes. We have a minute to wait if, because so we have Dave Perry and Mike Janet trying to get on still.
We're having technical issues this evening. Cindy, you made it on.
I am here.
Okay,
I'm
we
a
have
little
a quorum.
slow, sorry.
All right. Why don't we do the Pledge of Allegiance? Pledge allegiance, flag,
To the flag
of the
United States of America,
and
and to the republic for which it stands,
one
one
nation,
nation,
under
under
God,
God,
indivisible.
indivisible, with liberty and justice.
for all.
Okay. Everybody should have received the minutes from 4/15/21. Entertain a motion to accept the minutes.
I'll make a motion, Mr. Chair.
We have a motion. Second, please.
I'll second it.
Okay. We have unanimous consent. Any further discussion? All right. I'll say the motion carries. All right. Discussion possible final vote on account 9660, debt service from page 1. Okay, what do I do with my budget? There it is. Okay, we picked up Mike Janik. But can we record Mike as being present?
Okay, I think I've made it. Can you hear me?
Yeah,
Yes,
we can hear you, Mike.
Excellent.
So we're
Hopefully,
looking at page 1, the docket, debt service.
okay.
So
Chair, I'd like to make a motion to approve 4,737,263 for debt services account number 9660.
we have a motion, we have a second.
I'll second.
Okay, for the record, Dave Perry has entered the meeting with a smile on his face. Okay, Dave, we're voting on debt service, page 1. Okay, we have a motion, we had second. Can I assume we have unanimous consent on debt service? Is there any further discussion?
Joe,
Okay. Yes.
can I just make a recommendation or request that as we go through these for the second time that we get Tom, if he's got the original preliminary vote numbers, that he provides those to us as before we take a vote or discuss them?
Tom? You're muted still.
I mean,
Yeah, no
obviously,
problem. So I'll be the one that verbalizes the number.
I think, well, we had talked about previously about where we were as far as department ahead, but this is not going to change, so.
no, I agree. I understand that, but just in case there's,
Yeah.
if he brings something up just so that he verifies that those numbers were consistent with
Yeah.
what we had seen before, in case we don't have.
That all of our votes in the previous votes were preliminary, and they were pretty much the scaled down department heads' requests. So this is what they felt they needed, and then the council further trimmed those numbers in previous meetings, so. All right, so we had a motion, we had second, and the motion had carried. So,
Joe, I have a question.
go ahead.
Could we get the information on when these will drop off? Because I'm hearing we only have one more year on these school bonds,
In
and
previous years, we did list that, Laura?
I can get that. It is in the audit.
Yeah.
So for those who have a copy of the audit, it is posted in the audit. There is-
okay,
there
all
is-
right,
There is one bond coming off next year, not all of them.
one.
Yes.
I think we all should have had a copy of the audit. We had picked them up and stuff, so everybody should have it.
Wasn't it the TIF? Was that the one that was coming off?
I'm looking for it. Hang on.
All right. All right, well, Chris is looking for that. Next, we'll be discussing, it's item 6, discussion possible final votes on recurring major time finance payments, page 3 in the docket.
Here, I'd like to make a motion to approve,
2 and 3. No, 3, okay.
no, it's page 3, I
Yep, you're
think
right, I'm sorry.
only.
Yep.
I'd like to make a motion to approve 842,640.
Second,
What item number is that?
Oh, sorry, Tom was gonna tell us. Was that the
Yeah,
number?
What's the item number we're on?
We're on page 3 under reoccurred major time finance payments.
Okay.
I don't know the line number on the computer, but 842640.
So
That number is not the bottom number for the reoccurring major time finance payments. That's the bottom number for all capital.
correct.
Oh, I
But
see. Okay.
So that includes school capital, library capital, and the,
Okay, yeah, that's, so I was wondering if that was more than page 3.
Yep. Okay. And now remember, we normally take votes on the bottom line for sections too, so I don't know how we're gonna do that, but I'll amend my motion for 170140.
Second.
170,140.
I'll second that.
Okay. Can I assume we have unanimous consent? Is there any other discussion? I'll say the motion carries.
so you would have to go back to page 2 to do the total municipal capital and the capital improvement.
I'm sure we listed that on the docket.
Not listed.
Because it all falls under that 800.
Yeah, but we,
Because you're only looking at time payments. You're not looking at the
think that's what we looked at.
I mean, the only other thing we could do, Joe, is that I put a
Yeah.
total once we revote.
No,
on
yeah, the reason we
capital.
weren't ready to vote on capital yet,
Yeah, then
which is the reason why we just picked the one section of it out.
so we can.
Trying to
once we
get as
vote on
much done as we
capital-
can. But we're holding off on some items that we're waiting to see, what numbers look like and some research that we're working on.
So we can do a final number or vote on that once we do the capital section. I'll write that down for a future agenda.
Yeah, no, that was one that we purposely left off,
Okay.
that portion of it, until we finish what we're working on.
So if you don't mind, can I go back to Dave Perry's question
Yeah, go ahead.
about the debt service? So the debt service that ends, the last payment is on 6/30/2022. It's for the tax incremental financing. So it is the TIF item that
Yeah.
comes off. That's the last payment for that.
That was the sewer bond for the industrial park, correct?
Correct.
Chris, how about the 3 schools? Do you have that available?
So the Fort Barton is done on 4/1/2028.
Okay.
Cassett is 5/15/2038.
Ooh.
The public school bond is 10/1/2034. The series, the Rehibic, which I'm not sure, it's different in here. It's 8,025,025. Let's see. The library comes off on 10/1/34. So there's one more on here that I have.
If that's something we could add to the docket in small print, maybe on behind those.
So I can make a copy of this and put it with it. There's a whole page on this that deals just with the bonds.
I'm so terrible with names. Laura, when she did the budget that year, she put them on it. It was great because
Okay.
everybody got hope because, we got a couple going to be paid off soon. I don't know. Then we floated more, so. Okay, we're moving on then.
Yep.
All right, discussion, possible vote. All listed accounts, 1010 town clerk's office, 1020 town council, 1030 board of canvassers, 1040 town hall operating expenses, and 1050 legal service. Page 4 of the docket.
I'll make a motion to approve 315,773 for town clerk.
I'll second.
We have a motion and second. Joan, this was Joan's revised number, correct?
It is.
Okay, so we have a motion and second. Is there any further, can I assume we have unanimous consent? Is there any further discussion? Motion carries.
That number again is 315,773.
Correct.
Make a motion to approve.
Is that what we had before, Tom?
Yes.
Okay.
128,700 for town council. Count 1020.
I'll second.
We have a motion and second. Can I assume we have unanimous consent? Is there any further discussion? Motion carries.
Make a motion to approve 8,100 water canvases.
Second,
Okay. Who else said second?
Mike did.
Okay.
All right,
Just trying to give you a break.
didn't something change?
Yes, Joan did take out the elections
She
amount.
took out, yeah, she didn't need it.
She has a restricted fund. She thinks she can run the elections with sufficient funds.
So that's
She's here if you
reflected.
want to
Yeah.
speak to her, so. hang on.
Also the FTR.
That's another account further down. That was also eliminated.
Okay,
Yeah, she combined the 2 accounts.
but on this docket, has it all been
Yes.
calculated in? Okay, then we're all set.
Joan, can you hear us?
Yep, can hear you.
Okay,
Did you get that corrected number, Tom? It's now 8,100.
Yes,
or
yes, I did.
1030. Okay.
Right.
So, all right. So I'm sorry, I lost it. We're on town council,
That was Board of Canvassers.
Board of Canvas, I'm sorry. So we had the 8,100. We had unanimous consent. There was no further discussion. Okay, we'll move on.
I'll make a motion to approve 26,700 Town Hall account 1040.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. We have unanimous consent. No further discussion.
Okay, 26,700.
Okay, the motion carries.
I'll make a motion to move 267,500 account 1050 legal services.
Second.
I think this is where I was supposed to make the motion to cut this account.
That, you can do it now.
I'm just joking. After, you didn't hear the solicitor when he was talking with us. He pointed out that we would probably cut it. Now, we have a motion, we have a second. Do we have unanimous consent? Okay, I'll assume the motion carries.
267,500.
So we're through that. Okay, item 8. Boy, this thing printed out small. Discussion, possible final vote on all listed accounts, 1070, Planning Board,
I'll make a motion to approve 13,000.
1080, Zoning Board of Review,
Yeah.
1090, Town Sergeant, 1100 FTR was removed, correct?
was.
And 1120, Town Administrator, 1140, Land Use, all on page 5.
So the line was removed for the FTR. It's still
No,
there.
it-
It's just,
no,
we just have to vote
the
on it.
amount was removed.
Okay. It was removed completely.
Yes.
Amount was zeroed out.
It was zeroed out, but it's not removed from the docket. We still have to vote on a number, right?
Correct.
Okay.
Right.
Because the preliminary vote had it at 11,500. So you have to vote to change it to 0.
Yep,
Yeah.
we can do that. I'll make a motion to approve 13,000 planning board, account 1070.
Second.
So we have a motion and a second. Assume we have unanimous consent? Any further discussion? Motion carries.
I'll make a motion to approve 4,500 account 1060 zoning. Board of
1080.
Review.
1080.
I'm sorry.
Is that a second, Mike?
Yes.
So we have a motion and a second. Assume unanimous consent. Any further discussion? Motion carries.
Make a motion to approve 1,000 town sergeant 1090.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Assume we have unanimous consent. Motion carries.
I'll make a motion to approve 0 for account 1100 financial town referendum.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Assume unanimous consent. Any further discussion? Motion carries.
I'll make a motion to approve 194 215 account 1120 town administrator.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Can I assume unanimous consent? Any further discussion? Motion carries.
I'll make a motion to approve 311,100 account 1140 land use.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Is there any further, can you assume unanimous consent? Any further discussion? Motion carries. Okay, we got through land use, page 5. Item 9, discussion, possible final vote on all listed accounts. 1970 probate court, 2120 tax assessor, 2130 reevaluation, 2140 treasurer, listed on page 6.
Hey, I'll make a motion to approve 12,100
I will
account
second.
1970 probate.
Sorry, Joe. Dave. That's a second.
We have a motion and a second. Can I assume we have unanimous consent? Is there any further discussion?
Yeah, I'd just like to verify that the grand total for the general government number, if I could read it off and everyone would concur, since we're skipping through these numbers. It should be 1,282,688.
Yep,
That's what I've got.
Okay,
We good?
okay, I'll make a motion to approve 171,017, account 2120 tax assessor.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Can I assume unanimous consent? Any further
We-
discussion? Discussion? Motion carries.
Before we go on, do we need to vote and approve grand totals for the general government?
Yeah, we should.
Since that's a whole line item.
You want to make the motion?
I'll make a motion to approve 1,282,688 for the general government grand total.
I'll second that.
We have a motion and a second. Assume unanimous consent.
Okay, I'll make a motion 55,000 revaluation account 2130.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. Can I assume unanimous consent? Motion carries.
Make a motion 204,403, account 2140 treasurer.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Assume unanimous consent. Further discussion? Motion carries. Okay, that was page 6. Moving on, discuss possible final votes on all listed accounts. 2150, tax collector. 2170, tax sale. 2190, insurance. 2200, audit of town accounts. 2220, pension plan. OPEB. 2250, social security. 2270, unemployment security. 2300, unfunded liability. It's beyond page 7.
Okay, I'll start with motion to approve 164,651, account 2150 tax collector.
Second.
Okay, wait a minute. Did you say 161?
164,651.
Okay, I'm sorry.
Joe, you got to recuse yourself on this one.
Actually, I found out that I don't.
Okay, good.
If I was on the town council voting for her budget, to give her a raise, that's one thing, but being on the budget committee, I'm not giving her a raise or anything. We're just approving an entire account,
No
so.
problem with me.
Did we already have a second on that?
Yeah, we had a motion in a second. I just wanted to explain that because I had been recusing most of the time, but I found out that I was wasting my time.
Okay, good.
All right, so we have a motion, we have second. Do we have unanimous consent? Any further discussion? Motion carries.
Make a motion, $2,000, account 2170 tax sale.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. We have unanimous consent? Any further discussion? Motion carries.
Make a motion, 3,154,000, account 2190 insurance.
Second.
It's a lot of money for insurance. We have a motion. We have a second. Do we have unanimous consent? Any further discussion? Motion carries.
Make a motion, 25,000, account 2200, audit of town accounts.
Second.
We have a motion, we have a second. Unanimous consent. Further discussion? Motion carries.
Make a motion, 1,409,174. Account 2220 pension.
second,
We have a motion and a second. Unanimous consent. Any further discussion? Motion carries.
Okay, make a motion for $100,000 OPEC.
second,
We have a motion and a second. Do we have unanimous consent? I think we did before, except for me. All right, the motion carries. No further discussion. Motion carries.
I'll make a motion, $600,000, account 2250, Social Security.
I have a
Oh.
question. Was
Any
that,
questions?
that was raised up from? or was
583.
that- Okay, never mind. I see that was the requested amount for 600. Tom, what was the number we voted on for that before? Was it 6?
600.
I don't have that information now. It's gone.
Okay.
I'd have to dig into past meeting notes.
But these numbers come from actual payroll. We know what we have to pay every year. So, I mean,
Okay.
they send us a bill. We know what the bill is. We had a motion and
I'll
second.
second motion,
All right. Do we have unanimous consent? Any further discussion? Motion carries.
I'll make a motion, $15,000 for account 2270 unemployment.
I'll second,
We have a motion, we have a second. Do we have unanimous consent? Further discussion? Motion carries.
I'll make a motion, $100,000, account 2300 unfunded liability.
second,
Chris? We have people, how many people we currently have ready that could retire? 5? You're muted, I'm sorry.
5. So that's why you didn't hear me. So
Yeah, so we
the
have
Social
5.
Security numbers, it was at 625, just so you know. We did reduce that down.
That's what I
Okay.
thought. Okay.
And there are 5 eligible in one department. There's 1 eligible, there's 6, 7 eligibles. In one that we know for sure, so there's 8.
So we know what we'll be paying them if they walk out the door. We have those figures down, don't we? What we'll
Well,
pay.
we'll figure them out, but I don't have them, I don't keep a running tally of them. We do know it's significant.
I thought that the treasurer had kept those numbers.
Well, she does have them. I just don't, it depends on what day they leave. It's, if they stay throughout the year, the number will be higher at the end of the year than it would be at the beginning.
Yeah.
So a lot of it depends on the date.
Chair, I'd like to make a motion that we approve $6,245,000 for the grand total for financial
All right,
administration.
well, let me just finish the vote on the 100,000.
Oh, you didn't? Okay.
No, well, I'm assuming we have unanimous consent. Any further discussion? Okay, Sherry, motion carries. Now we're ready. The grand total.
Yep, grand total, motion to approve $6,245,000 for financial administration.
Second.
I'll second that.
Go ahead.
Concur with that.
Okay. Number
Have
11.
to ask for unanimous consent.
I'm sorry, did we have unanimous consent? Is there any further discussion? Motion carries. All right. Discussion possible vote on all listed accounts. 3350 Harbor Coastal Management, 3360 Harbor Master. Page 11.
I'll make a motion to approve 550, account 3350.
second,
We have a motion, we have a second. We have unanimous consent. Is there any further discussion? Motion carries.
I'll make a motion to approve 30,235, count 3360.
Second.
All right. We have a motion. We have a second. Do we have unanimous consent? Motion carries. Okay, that was finishing up page 11. Or no, that's,
Hold on, I
not
just want,
finishing
okay,
the
so
page.
this is another one where we'll go back.
Yeah, we're gonna have to
and-
go back.
Yeah, you can't approve it all yet.
Yep, okay.
All right,
Nope, there, yep, okay. Chevy's all over it. Okay, town administrator discussion on where we are with the budget process, revenues, and any new developments on the state budget, information received. Have Tom here let us know where he is on the docket and what he needs from town administrator.
Well, I think I corresponded with Chris and he's given me everything I've asked for.
So, just so on revenues, I have given you new revenue numbers. I don't know, do you guys actually vote on those or do you just plug them in or?
Uh,
No, I'm not.
Well, we should properly receive them.
So
So-
I did get them to Tom this week. I did go over them with the council this week. We did make some, there was I think it was 2 weeks ago, we gave out some revenue numbers that were about 11,600,000. They are now sitting at 18,875,000. We made some adjustments to reflect some of the missing items and we increased some of the line items. I can give you a rundown of to what those adjustments were.
Chris, what page you on?
There's a whole section on revenues. So it's outside the docket. It would be right after page 16. There'll be, I think, 7 or 8 pages.
Got it.
So I just want to be clear that this evening's meeting, the agenda, we basically, you might have noticed that everything went unanimous consent, and that was the idea to eliminate as many of these items as we could. I'm assuming that some of these harder votes are going to be, a roll call vote, but I think we get started on this budget. The final budget is where we need to be moving on this, so.
and I would like to just tell you that, I thought that, and I think the library thought as well that we were revoting. I don't see it. I was looking at the agenda to see if I thought that it was on here, but the library did send an email last minute tonight and ask, the director of the library said, "Good evening, Budget Committee. On behalf of the Tiverton Library Budget Subcommittee, I would like to respectfully request that a presentation or discussion agenda item related to library services account 6630 be placed on the May 6th Budget Committee agenda. She and the subcommittee would like to discuss the impact of level funding on library services one more time prior to the final Budget Committee vote, if that's okay with the committee."
Well, I kind of think we've heard it, but if the majority of the members of the committee want to have her come back, I understand what cuts do, so I don't really need it explained to me, but I also know that people are taking cuts all over this town, so I got friends that, hadn't worked in 14 months. So,
Do you guys want, do we want to ask everybody that's here what,
just to note, Judy Jones has.
I just noticed that, yep.
Attendance. I personally don't need it, so I'll leave it up, I'll put it up to the members to weigh in as they see fit. Does anybody feel the need to see the library again? Mike?
I'd just like to make the point that if they're making the effort to present something to us that may have been not clearly conveyed in the last time, I feel we should give them the opportunity.
Okay, there's 1-4.
I think we've heard them already. I don't know that they need to come back. I don't know what else they're gonna say. They're just looking for more money, obviously.
Well, you know, if they use money to provide services. I mean, if you cut their budget or level fund their budget and they keep giving pay raises at 3%, it's kind of like the schools. If you give out a 3% pay raise and you don't get an increase, then you have to get the money somewhere. So you have to give less service. We all understand that. But again, we have a lot of people in this town that aren't working. Denise, did you want to weigh in? You were just kind of half waving. You're muted still, ma'am. You're muted, Denise.
Sorry, Joe, my dog was barking, so I didn't want you all to hear him. I wasn't at your last meeting, but I understand you level funded them.
Yes.
So you decreased them by $12,000 around?
Whatever they got last year, we voted to give them the same amount plus $1.
All right, I'm just gonna say this is the third year in a row that they've been level funded. And I think they've been very responsible with all your observations of what they needed to fix last year. I think that they used some of the funds to do that. I think that they've been more than willing to work with this budget committee. I really think that it's a very small amount of money you cut. And I think you're just showing you've level funded them for 3 years. So I think they
Didn't
really,
Stanford Mantel give them an increase in his budget?
I
That was just the
don't,
year before last, wasn't it?
I don't think so, Joe, because I was
Yeah,
just looking at the budget and I went back. I just feel that if they want to come and speak to you and give you more rationale on what they need this $12,000 for, I think it's the spirit of cooperation, and I think you need to listen to them.
Well, I think we did listen to them and they told us what they want to do. This is my point, okay? I listened to you. I listened to every department head. I listened to the school department, and I'm listening to the people in this town. And we're coming off of this COVID, and we got all kind of promise of money coming from the federal government. Who's to say the library's not going to get some of that trickled down to them? Or some of the people over there might donate a little more. I don't know. But I know that I can't throw a big tax increase at the people in this town and then want to walk back to my house without getting tomatoes thrown at me, because people are hurting.
Yeah, I just want to say that the town council, as you all know,
You just went back muted.
as you all know, the town council spent endless days looking at this budget, going through all the savings we could possibly afford, tried to find cuts, tried to find other ways to fund everything we needed. And as you all know, the town council did vote to give them this increase. And we also had a presentation. We listened to them and we thought it was worth it. I'm just kind of speaking for them because I really think that it's not a big increase, and I think it speaks volumes.
Okay,
That's all.
Jerry?
Yeah, I just
Thank
wanted
you.
to say, I mean, I think we can send them, and this is my opinion, I think we could send them back an email and just tell them, we're nearing the end and try to give them, a allotted amount of time or something, and just try to keep it short, and they could even email us something ahead of time if they want a statement or something that may also be helpful, to help keep that down, to either email us something explaining what it is that they wanted to say, or give them at least, a few minutes to give us, to tell us whatever they want to add.
Well, we've cut every department in this town. We'd have to go back and let every department head come in and tell us why we know what's going to be cut.
So do you want to have them send an
If we,
email? after
$12,000 is cut. We know what's going to be cut, but
Okay,
it's not that deep a cut. So
So would it be appropriate then to just at least have them send an email that I can forward out to the whole committee with their request?
That'd be fine, but as far as scheduling another meeting with the schools, we had agreed to let the school come back for a quick meeting when we voted on their budget, but I really don't want to get into a long presentation and get the parents all whipped up. If they want to do that on Facebook, let them. But they want to come in here and tell us, oh, it's going to hurt the kids, blah, blah, blah. We know what it does. I don't want to get into this thing where we have Santa Claus coming here trying to give it away, and then we got to be the Scrooge and say, no, you can't have it. It's great to come in before and say, oh, they need it. It's great. But in reality, we got to take the money out of people's pockets. And that's the point I'm sticking to, is we got to take this money out of the taxpayers' pockets. And many of them didn't get a raise last year. In fact, many of them lost income, like myself. I took in less income last year. Fortunately, I saved, so I'm all right, but because I've always been a saver. But many people are living out their paycheck to paycheck right now. So a big increase in their taxes, and then their house valuation goes up, so they get whacked with that too.
I completely understand everything you're saying, but Mike Janik also has his hand up again.
I'm sorry, Mike, I'm going on. Go ahead.
All right, Joe. My feeling is that if we could allot them 5 minutes, the vote could be 5-3 again to do the MOE, but I feel that in the interest of giving these people the opportunity to have their voices heard, we're not going to allot them, 2 hours. 5 minutes of our time to give them the feeling that we're at least listening, I think is not outrageous.
Does everybody feel like that?
I agree with Mike. I think it's our responsibility to give people some time
Okay.
and listen to them.
All right. I'm all about letting people speak their mind, but I just don't want to get into another whole meeting, listen to how we're going to hurt the library if we cut $12,000. It's,
You give them 5 minutes. That's it.
well, let's be realistic. Let's say 15 minutes and they'll go on 20 or so.
We only want to listen to what they have that's new. That's all. But
Yeah. All right.
Okay, I'll send them an email and tell them we just keep the time, and if they still want to send out an email ahead of time just to give us an idea that says.
Do we want to vote on that for the next meeting? Should we put that on the agenda for the next meeting?
I think so.
And that's where we need to just make sure that, what do we want to do in the next meeting? What do we want to tackle, Public Works?
I'm going through that for you right now. I think I'm going to tell you what's open.
All right.
You have municipal capital on page 2. You have capital improvements on page 2. You have fire department on page 9, police department on page 10, municipal court on page 10, public works on pages 12 to 13. You have parks and recreation on page 13, associated activities on page 14. Civic appropriations on 15. Library on 15.
Yeah.
And, well, wait a minute, where do I got parks? Hang on a second. Parks maintenance, I'm sorry. So Public Works is, never mind that park.
Yeah, they're in that part of it.
That was just parks for mowing. So on page 16, it's Parks and Rec.
Well, I'd like to take on a couple of hard ones and an easy one for the next meeting.
Parks and Rec is page
Thanks.
16, but then you have school on page 16. The SRO on page 16. And I think that's it. So that's the list of the things that are outstanding. I think, it's your call, Joe. It's your budget, but that's what's left to do.
Well, it's our committee that has to make.
No, I mean that.
I'm just saying that's why I want to ask the committee, do we want to try to, maybe, I don't want to just put everything on the budget if people want to appear. So if we're going to have the library reappear and the school reappear, maybe we should do the library and the school on the same night. And then for the people we can just stack the budget with the rest of it for the next meeting and get as much done as we can. But for where we have people that want to reappear, let's make sure that we have enough time to do it with them, not, so we want to do like the schools next, schools, the library, maybe Public Works for the next meeting. Dave?
So I'd like to save the schools, not next, I still like to look into the schools a little bit more.
Okay, police department, maybe?
I see John's not on here tonight, but I don't know what kind of information he got back from them.
Yeah.
But
I
I
know
would
you-
like to see the school schedules for the middle school and the high school, the teacher schedules. And there's some other things I'd like to look at.
Okay,
But
so
I'd like to get back to Chris.
Dave, what's your suggestion for a meeting, next meeting?
Well, I think if you want to do the library and a few of the other ones, I don't have a problem with that.
How about police?
Absolutely. Police, DPW.
Library?
You know, Chris, none of these numbers are going to change by the departments, correct?
No, the council has submitted their final budget as of last night.
Okay, so whatever numbers are on these sheets are the numbers.
That's it.
And so it's up to us whether we're going to cut them or just
Yeah.
approve them.
Correct.
Do you
So,
guys want to jump around, or can I go back through here and start pulling page by page? And we'll just add the library since they've requested to be on next, but kind of start so we're not
This is
jumping
what we're
all
trying to
around.
figure. Sherry, what's your suggestion? Go ahead.
Yeah, I mean, so my suggestion would be, just so we're staying in line with the docket and we're not jumping all over the place, is to go back through and, I mean, we still may have to skip a page, but at least if we go back through and put the library on next agenda and then just start from wherever we stopped tonight, so we can maybe do some of the bottom lines. That's my suggestion, is to not jump all over the place, but if you guys.
I agree. I like that.
Is that okay?
I would do pages 9 and 10, fire and police, municipal court.
Yeah,
Probably do your associated activities, your civic appropriations, and your library.
Yep.
there you go.
That'd be a good night.
Yeah,
Okay, does that sound good for everybody?
Yep. I'd like to get back to Chris for a minute. Chris,
Okay.
Chris, that revenue number that you gave us in the back.
Yep.
Did you say it was 18?
No, I did not. Hang on, I'm gonna give it to you. It's,
14, right?
no, it's 12, hang on.
12, 8,
Well,
12,875,573, non-tax revenue. Okay? so
Okay.
Don't forget, there's some big numbers missing here that not missing, they're, I'll go through it with you. So the biggest changes are on the second page of that. There's the Tiverton Power Associates.
Hold on. This is important stuff. Go ahead. I got it.
So you'll see there's a number that goes from 630,000 to 1.1 million.
Okay.
Okay, so that's because they're in a reval as well.
Okay.
The other number I changed is actually the stamp tax number. We had originally proposed 200,000. We moved that to 225. That's on page 1. I'm sorry, I missed that one to start with. And I'm going just from a couple weeks ago, the sheets that we gave you. On the fire department under plan review. And that's gonna be. Am I missing this sheet here?
Look, you had 20,000 on the plan review.
Do you have it?
This was
Oh, yes, that's the
Okay.
third page.
what you just handed.
We had originally budgeted 10 grand for it. We moved it up to 20.
Yeah.
Okay, and then on police department details, we had originally budgeted 70,000. We moved that to 80.
20,000.
did you move building permits up a little bit too?
No, we did not. let me see, I gotta find those. No, because we went by what we're tracking at right now, and we think the 191 number is the right number based on current projections.
Sections, okay.
And the last item was actually two items under beaches. Originally, we had budgeted Bogland Beach at 15,000, which was way off. It should have been 40,000. So we
Really?
added 25 there, and we added $7,500 for the summer camp programs. So that brought our original 11,698,000 up to 12,875,573. So Tom, do you have these numbers in your sheets now?
Yes, I do. They're in my sheets. Yep.
And I also, our numbers are pretty far off from last year's 14,500,000.
Right.
Because of that number, 1.6 million, 1.625 is out of the general fund reserve.
Okay.
We don't have that available right now. So I did factor in $500,000 as a maximum. The council did vote not to exceed that last night. So
Yes,
that brings the total non-tax revenue to 13,375,573. But the other component that you need to know is if you go and look at the under operations aid, without the school costs out, the state aid, you'll see there's a fairly significant drop from 7.3 million to 6.7 million. And so even though we had some increases, we're trying to catch up by $600,000.
Right.
And not having the availability of general fund reserves, basically there's 640,000 above the 3% cap. And, we were trying to leave a little bit of wiggle room there. So that's how we came up with that. So with the current docket, the way the council had approved it, and I did plug in the school numbers as if they were approved with these revenues and the new valuation of the town, I'm hoping Tom's numbers come out to 1522 now.
It comes out pretty close.
How far are you off? What's the number you come up with?
Well, to get the exact 4%, we need about another $30,000.
So can I go through that last page with you for the calculation?
Yeah.
Because I want to make sure you have the right amounts. So and I know you haven't voted on this, but so there's 32,506,856,000 for the school aid, right? School operations.
Right.
I know you haven't voted on it. 21 million, and I know you haven't finished voting on the docket, but assuming you vote the way the docket is currently, it will be 21,897,596 for the municipal operations.
We'll see. Hold on. I just got to get my the sheets lined up here. So what number did you just come up with?
21,897,596 for municipal expenses.
Yeah, no, I have a different number than that, and that all goes back to the library.
Okay, so that difference is the library, right? Okay, so we know what that difference is then.
Yep.
Right, so there'll be a slight difference in the tax rate based on that.
Yep.
And then $842,640 for capital.
Got it.
Right, and I'm, again, I know you haven't voted on that. If and when you ever vote on that, we'll have a significant drop in expenses as well.
Right.
So that brings me to 55,247,092, which the only difference right now is the library.
Right.
Okay.
Right.
You subtract out the non-tax revenue, which includes $500,000 of general fund reserves.
okay,
3,375,573. You also have to subtract out $75,000 for abatement. So I don't know what you're using for abatements. Last year, we only used 20,000.
Right. Now I've updated to all your numbers.
Okay.
Oh,
And then we're imposing $1.3 million for motor vehicle taxes.
Mhm.
So my net expenditure base for the docket, and I know it'll be different based on the library, is $646,519. So the only difference we should have right now is just the library number, which is $12,000, so whatever.
Right.
Oh, and then the total valuation of the town is $2,670,000,000.
Yep.
Okay, so now you should be really close to what my number is.
Oh, absolutely. Yep. It's
Okay.
very close. Percentage wise.
And that's the drill that we were trying to do this week that we didn't get a chance to do back and forth.
Right. In fact, even with the differences, this example number is $15.22. It still comes out that way. But as far as the 4% calculation, which I outright calculated in the detailed thing, is we need $29,465 more to cut our revenue.
Okay, but I'm not gonna tell you where to take that from.
Sherry had her hand up for a while. Sherry,
Well, yeah, I mean, part of this, so I don't know, Tom, when you get all that straight, if you can send that out to all of us, because it would be helpful to see your docket. And then the other thing is that we still, just need to probably talk about, I know that the town council is going to create the committee for deciding what to do with the gaming revenue that comes in. But I wondered, do we really not have any projected gaming revenue yet?
So
Chris?
for this year, we currently have about 930,000, I believe, in the bank that's come in. We're expecting to be very similar to last year at about 1.2 to 1.3 million.
Yeah, I know we can't do anything with it, use it, but it could make a difference if we decide not to fund something that could possibly be funded out of that with that committee. So
No, I get that. That you are correct with that. But I don't think the council is going to work on that until they actually have a committee review and some recommendations.
okay.
So I would suspect that will be for the FY23 budget, not the FY22.
Right. Okay. So they won't be ready for 22. That was going to be my question.
Well,
And then
no,
the
but
last thing is, what is
that
a
doesn't mean
vicious
they can't
dog
spend
fund?
money, Sherry.
I couldn't hear.
I'm sorry. I didn't mean to interrupt, but just because they don't have the committee doesn't mean the town council can't spend the money in the current year coming or in the next fiscal year.
Yeah.
They don't, under that ordinance, the council has the ability to spend the money regardless whether that committee's there or not.
Right.
So,
Okay.
and I'm understanding that it might be close to $4 million by the time
How do you
you
get
get
that?
the committee.
What do
We
you
get the reimbursement from last year for the money they didn't give us. That's another 2 million coming in.
But we have not been assured of that yet, Joe.
Well, I know we haven't been assured. I'm saying if we get it, and there's a good chance that we could be reimbursed since they're being reimbursed. Hopefully, we're working on that in our legislature.
We are working on that, Joe, but it's a little bit more complicated.
That was my only point, to say that the council doesn't need a committee to start spending that money. If we decide not to fund paving, they can literally fund paving out of that.
But if we don't get it, Joe, then
If we don't
Then it's
get it,
not
then we
funded.
can't spend it. But it's better to be safe and say, if we get the money, we'll spend it. If we don't, we'll have to wait till next year.
Well,
That's just my opinion.
the way I understand that this works, Joe, is the council sets the policy. You direct the budget based on what the budget is in front of you
Yeah.
as a request.
Well, we make a recommendation. I understand how it works. We recommend to the taxpayers. I understand.
Chris, I have a question for you. Going back to that last page, up
Yep.
the top where it says capital expenditures,
Which last page?
842,640.
Yes. So
That's
the
for the, is that for the
842,640,
schools?
That does. It includes $100,000 for the first payment of the pumper.
Okay,
All right, $15,000 for the library capital, and
Okay.
557,000,
for the schools.
557,500 for the school, and the 170,000 for the time payments.
Okay.
So that's all included in that $846,000.
842,640.
Yeah,
Okay,
Yep.
okay. I just have one issue, and it's a school problem. with the maintenance contract for the heating. That's not a one-time expense. That's every year.
Yeah, I don't think we're gonna hear that anyway.
No, but you know what? That should be in his operating expenses, not in capital. I'm sorry.
I know that that's how the school committee had requested that it come over here for it to be put on the docket.
I think a lot of us
And it
agree
will
with
be on the
that.
docket based on the way that they requested it.
Yeah,
But you're
I
right to
know.
vote on it any way that you want, so.
Well,
Okay. Is there anything else? Are we ready to adjourn?
motion to adjourn.
Wait, before you adjourn, are you gonna set a date for the next meeting or?
Next
Next
Thursday.
Thursday,
Okay, no, I just wanted, I'm just trying to plan my week too. That's-
oh,
Yeah, no, I'm assuming we're gonna meet and finish
Okay.
it within the next 4 or 5 meetings, hopefully, or 3
Okay, all right, no problem. I just didn't know if you had set a date, that's all. Okay,
next week. So we had a motion to adjourn by Dave Perry at 8:05. That was good.
Seconded by,
And second,
I'll second.
Joe Strong, second.
okay, we all set? We have a motion to adjourn, second.
Second.
Unanimous consent.